Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Jefe Shop Chop. This episode is going to be entirely about the 30k challenge. So at the end of the last episode, I sold the Commodore for $2,000. So that brings me to a total of $2,126. And then today, I'm going to spend some of that. So before I spend any money, I got this the other day from Nathan. So I fixed his Starlet in the other episode, and he had this in his shed when he was cleaning out. So it's a big Mickey Thompson slick. The size is a 14.5 3215, so it's absolutely huge. And he told me to sell it for the 30k challenge. So I've got this for nothing, so I'll try and sell it. So the next thing I'm doing today is picking up a new car. So my mate Dale with the Tirana, he found this Corolla, so it's a K30 Corolla, in a side street near my house, and he told me about it. And yesterday I went around with Nathan and knocked on the door and no one answered, so I had a quick look at the car because it's out the front. And then we left a note just saying, like, please call me, and my phone number. So I got a phone call last night from a lady called Bonnie. So she has this Corolla, and she said it is indeed for sale. So we're going to go have a look at that today. So I'm just waiting for Nathan to come around, and then we're going to go get a car trailer and go around and grab this Corolla. She's also got another car that I want to have a look at, which is a Volkswagen. I don't know much about Volkswagens, but if it's as good as it is in the photos, then I might grab that as well. So Nathan's rocked up, we're going to go to car trailer, and we've picked up the first car of the day, a Volkswagen Passat. So I believe this is a 1974, it's a B1, and that's about all I know at this stage. Doesn't run, but it's really tidy. So we'll get this unloaded and go back and get the Corolla, and then I'll give you a better look at them. So it's been about 10 minutes, and we're back with the second car. This is the K30 Corolla, sorry, it's a K55, and then the B1 Passat over there. So we'll get them sitting next to each other, take this trailer back, and then start washing them. So we've got the two cars unloaded, both barn fresh, covered in dust. So I'm just going to take the trailer back, and then we'll come and wash them. So we just put the battery in from the Lexus, sprayed some brake cleaner in the carby, and hooked up everything, cleaned it. This is the first attempt at a start, so I don't even know if it's going to crank over. Or it'll run immediately. That's good, that's good. Alright, awesome. So we've cleaned both the cars. The Volkswagen came up absolutely immaculate, which is quite a surprise. I thought it was pretty good, but not this good. And the Corolla, as you saw, took a lot of work, but it came out well. So the Corolla we had running off of brake fluid only, sorry, brake cleaner. So now I'm just going to try and work out if it's the fuel pump that's bad, or if the fuel filter's bad, or if the tank line is gone. So we'll try and do that. As for the Volkswagen, put a battery in it, sprayed some brake cleaner in the carby, and it fired straight up and purred like a kitten. So we have tested it just a little bit, and I'm now put rego on it, and it is my daily apparently. So I don't know if it's going to be any good, but we'll give it a risk and see how we go. So I'll just keep playing with this Corolla and try and get it running off its own, off the fuel pump and off its own fuel source. So I've just put half a litre of 98 in a fuel safe container. I'm just going to put it down here. It's a bit precarious, but wedge it in here. Taking the fuel pump line off of the fuel filter, jam that into the bottle so it's touching the liquid, which is going to be a little bit harder than I thought. Alright, so we're in the liquid there. You can kind of see it's in there, it's in the liquid. So now I'll crank it over and see if it'll start running off of that fuel there. So it keeps running and then dying, so I'm still not sure if it's running off of the fuel yet. I don't think so. So we'll keep trying, bit of brake cleaner, like a responsible adult. And then, this is where it'd be handy having two people. Kick it in the guts. It wants to run a little bit. So it does run quite well when it wants to, but it's not seeming to take the fuel. Let's keep trying this for a little bit and see how we progress. So I've got a charge light on the dash on the Passat. So I've just been having a look at the engine and trying to find something that's disconnected. So I got Emily to sit in the driver's seat and I pulled all the fuses individually to see if that fixed the problem, or took the light off at least, so we knew where to look. But that didn't work. So one of these cars actually came with a volt gauge, which is fantastic because I don't know where my multimeter is. But this car's running and that's hooked up and it says 12.2. So the alternator's not charging, unfortunately. So this is actually registered now, and it's my only car that's running and driving. I could put rego on the Lexus, but I'm going to avoid that. So I need to try and get the alternator working or get one for this ASAP. Otherwise I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. So we'll try and do that shortly. But it's pretty much dark for tonight, so that's where we're at. This one's running, and I also got the Corolla running off of its own fuel tank. I took the fuel pump off, squeezed it a bunch of times with both ends in fuel, and then that primed it enough to get it working, or to free it up, or whatever was needed doing, and then I put it back together, turned the car on, and it pumped fuel. So I hooked it all up again, and now it's running off its own fuel tank, which is excellent. So it's been a really productive day. Got two cars running, 2 cars driving, so I've driven this out and around and come back in, and I've driven the Volkswagen a couple streets over to my mate's house and back. So that's all I've done so far. Pretty fun day. So while I've got the gauge out, I may as well check the Corolla as well. So you can see it's not running, 12.5 volts. So ideally, when I start this, it should go up to 14 or 13.5, something along those lines. So here's a look at the interior. I've got the stock steering wheel somewhere else. I've got the stock steering wheel and I've got the stock gear knob. It's an auto. But I've got those two stock pieces, but whether I put them on or not is a different question. So give this a start. Oh, try again. There you go, so that runs alright. It's not super happy about life, but it's better. And this is only at 12.2 volts again. So I wonder if this even works now, but we'll see. There we go, it's at 12.9 now, so maybe this alternator does work. Don't know, a bit sketchy, but keep playing with it. So the other way I've been told to test the alternator, I've never actually tried it, is when the car's running, take off one of the battery terminals and if it continues to run, then the alternator is charging. So we'll try that. Take that off. Keeps running, so that's a good sign, I think. Who knows? Take that off. No battery, car still runs. So ideally, if you did install this, you'd be able to drive it. Let's try that on the Passat. So I got the Passat running, obviously. Let's take this battery terminal off and see what happens. Stalls straight away, so that makes me think it's running only off the battery and not off the alternator. So take that off, have a look, or try and work out some wiring and see how we can go from there. So my not at all expert opinion is the Passat has a dead alternator and a dead battery, which we've now replaced. Other than that, the thermofan is hooked up a bit weird, and I'd like to remedy that and make it so when the ignition's on, the fan's on, just for safekeeping, just so it never overheats. Also give it a fluid flush, and I'll give it a service. And the Corolla, the fuel pump was dodgy, but I think I fixed it for now. Seems to be running off its own fuel, so I'll get some more fuel for it and fill the tank up. Other than that, it's quite filthy, but it seems to be working reasonably well. The trans was a bit hesitant to go, so maybe it's low on fluid. Other than that, I'm pretty much out of ideas for now, so try and get an alternator for this thing, and I need to rego that eventually, but hopefully I can drive this for a bit, sell this, and then rego that and drive that. So we'll see how we go. So I've just been tallying up what I spent today, and a few people corrected me. The Commodore I bought was a VY, not a VZ, so I'll change that. So I had $2,126. I bought the K55 and the Passat for $1,500. So the Corolla was $500, the Passat was $1,000. So that took me down to $626. Then today I spent $486.50 on battery, rego, fuel, trailer, and the coins in the car added onto that. So got $486.50, which leaves me with $139.50. So I'll split these into what each car owes me, and I'll put those onto my other list. But for now, I've got $139.50. So I'm just looking back at my other page here. So on day one, the Passat owes me $1,429.25, and the K55 owes me $557.25. So this includes rego, trailer hire, fuel for the car that I borrowed or that Nathan used, fuel for both of the cars, and everything else. So buy price, everything.